Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Energetic Life Now show. I am your host, Eric Stenlake. It's so great to have you guys joining in from around the world on Zingo TV and the Her Network on Zingo TV, channels 250, 251, the Spanish World Network. And remember that this is always available for you to download on your iOS and Android devices, the Zingo TV app. It's free. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a rate, give us a smile, give us a like, and tell us what's good in the neighborhood. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and on all smart TVs 2016 and forward. So you guys, gals, and lovely people around the world, I am so happy to be back. It has been quite a few weeks where I have not been around because I have been traveling and presenting all over the United States with my role doing professional development trainings with educators. And now I'm back, and I said, who is the most incredible guest that I can get on as my welcome back to life? And it is my dear friend right here next to me, the Cindy Gold, who has a heart of gold. And Cindy, great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me today. What's happening?
I am so happy to be here. Thank you for asking me and inviting me. I know it's been a minute, and then it's been a whirlwind for you. What's happening? Oh my goodness, so much that's happening out in the world right now, and my own life, and so many blessings, so many awesome things. And you know what I love about you? I'm sitting here listening to you, and you are literally the epitome of a walking billboard for energetic life. And, I mean, I look at your slogan, from alive to thrive. You're so that guy. And even your, the fact that you decided to in tune with Mr. Rogers, and you always ask what's good in the neighborhood because you bring good to all the neighborhoods. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. It's great to be back on here. And oh, look at that. I think one of your grandkids is on there, Caden, saying, Grandma Cindy, we love you. What's up, Caden? Glad to have you with us. So today, friends and family, we're going to be talking about something that is really cool. Been on the forefront of my mind all summer, and it's this. It's called positive expectancy. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to read you the terminology for this straight out of the Neuroencoding Institute from the man, the myth, the legend, Dr. Joseph McClendon III. So JM3, if you're catching this, we love you. Thank you so much for all you do. Positive expectancy refers to the mindset of anticipating and believing that positive outcomes will occur in various aspects of life. This mindset can influence thoughts, emotions, behaviors, leading to increased motivation, resilience, and a higher likelihood of achieving desired goals. Now, I think that is just mind-blowing to me because I have been seeing this showing up so many different places without me realizing it over the course of the summer, not only in me, but the educators that I've had the honor and privilege of working with all summer. And I like this, Cindy, because we you and I, we deal with a lot of people, right? We're into people. People is what we do. Yeah. And when people come to us and they're like, listen, great, now I'm going to call you Grandma Cindy all day. Grandma Cindy, listen, this is bad, this is bad, right? And so we look at this narrative of where in life are we? Are we on the negative side of things, or are we looking for the positive side of things?
Right.
So, listen, Cindy, can I be honest with you right here?
Yes.
My wife's upstairs, so I don't want to hear this, okay? She and I are like polar opposites. She tends to be like, oh, just give them the benefit of the doubt. They're probably going through something. They're probably, whereas I'm on the other side. I grew up on the East Coast, and I'm like, listen, now, look at this guy. Right? And so when you're looking at what positive expectancy is, I love the word expectancy, because what does that mean? Expectation.
Yeah.
So how I literally get my mindset right to show up today in life, really for me, I've been connecting to having this positive influence in what I'm thinking and feeling to then take that into my day. Tell us if you will, Cindy, kind of where's that resonating for you?
It's interesting because where it really resonates is for me to have positive expectancy. I absolutely, no matter what, have to come consistently all the time from a
Yeah.
place of gratitude and love. If I
Mm,
sit in gratitude and appreciation, then I can expect for all good things to happen. And if
yeah.
I'm, like that cartoon Pigpen walking around, Charlie Brown and the whole thing, if
Sure.
I'm doing that, I can so expect to get a mouthful of dirt. I mean, it's like a big, huge puff of it. But for me, where it shows up in my life is I, my story. And so I made it an absolute intention to always, the first thing out before my feet even hit the ground, I'm thank you. Thank you that
Mm,
I had this great bed to sleep in. Thank you that I
mhm.
had, and thank you that I have only amazing things coming towards me today. And everything that comes towards me is happening for me,
Yeah.
and coming from that expectation, thank you that it's Christmas Eve and I'm going to have some really cool things in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Cindy is spot on with what she's saying. As we're coming to the table with the anticipation of being in joy, of being in gratitude, of being in and receiving that from God, the universe, nature, wherever that's coming from, I think is really important as we look at as we look at how we're waking up and starting the day. Right? If that alarm goes off, my first thought in my head is, "Oh my gosh, I can't do this today." Well, what intentions are you setting? What expectations are you setting for yourself in the day? Or on the flip side, that alarm gets off and bam, you're jumping out of bed and you're like, "Man, I got lives to change. I got learning to happen. I got things going on. I am moving and grooving. Come on, universe, bring it and give it to me because I am ready to receive and I'm going to go out and make things happen."
Yes.
That is a huge difference. A huge difference.
Yes. Well, and I am to the core of my soul. I believe that we are God's strategy. We're
Mhm.
God's strategy. We're here. We're his hands and feet. We're the ones
Yeah.
that are going to assist to end suffering, to
Yeah.
bring joy. So it's my responsibility to wake up every day and to be in that space. Now I can wake
Mhm.
up and feel broke, busted, and disgusted. I mean, gosh, it's easy to buy into everything that's going on around us, right? Circumstance, or
Sure.
and just to say, oh my gosh, this sucks, like you said, wake up and be like, or you can wake up and say, holy cow, let's go, and I'm so excited to be up. And I know it sounds silly, but I really do. I brush my teeth. Thanks for my toothpaste. Thanks for my
Mhm.
toothbrush. Let me a quick little story. Like I'm in Washington, and there's lots of fires going on around me.
Yeah.
And I was talking with one of my good close friends, and she was super blessed. There are 12,000, I think, acres burned to the ground, and of
Mm.
course everybody's in prayer and everything. And her home is one of a very few. She called me on a FaceTime at night at 1:30 in the morning, and I can see all around her like homes burning to the ground, and even fire went underneath their trailers, their logging trucks, everything. The grass is singed. Not one vehicle is harmed. Her home is perfect. Her shop, look what God did, right? And
Mm.
and so yesterday she was telling me that she was collecting things, to donate to churches because so many families are without, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she saw a man on the side of the road, and she pulled over because he looked, and he said, "Oh," he said he was just pausing for a minute because he and his wife had lost their home of 30 years, all these things, and she had an entire vehicle full of stuff, and she said, "Hey, come back here. Do you need any of this stuff?" And he just started crying. He
Mm.
said, "We've cried more tears on the generosity and the love of other people in this moment than even the loss of what we've had." And
Mm.
one of the things that we don't think about is they need toothbrushes, they need
Yeah.
toothpaste. They need underwear. They need basic stuff that we take for granted, right? And so if we come from me, I expect those things in my life, right? Don't you? I expect to have those things. I expect to live in beauty. I do. I expect to have a beautiful home. I expect that, I come from it with expecting, but with this huge layer of gratitude, because I think they go all together, right? Hand in hand.
Yeah. That last statement there, I was just huge, right? I want to make sure that my expectancy is coming from a place of gratitude and not from selfishness,
Yes. Yes.
right? Because if I'm like, I deserve this because, and it's a place of selfishness that I should get this because, on the other end of that is saying, I deserve this, and I'm thankful for and grateful for, and this is going to bring me joy, and I can take this into a heart of service now and lead with that. I think in today's day and age, I think that's what goes back to this for me is, where am I in that expectation? Am I on this side or I'm in this side?
Right.
And I would encourage all of us around the world that are watching this is to really have some self-reflection.
Mhm.
Are we balanced? Are we in that place of harmony within our life to understand that what we have and our joy and our gratitude and all these pieces, that we're using that to stay in harmony with
Yes.
our belief systems and structures, so that we can wake up and get up into positive expectancy each day.
Yes. Well, what's really cool about that too, and what a beautiful example your wife is, actually. I mean, what a beautiful example she is to you on that side of the spectrum, right? And one
Mhm.
of the things that's really fun for me with the positive expectancy is that, so what happens when you wake up and maybe you haven't seen something that you've been praying for and that you've been writing about and journaling about, and something that a goal that you've had or whatever. What happens if you wake up and you are in oh my gosh, how did this happen? I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you, God, that I now have this, that I'm serving at this level, or that I've got this thing that I really needed, or that I'm debt free, or whatever it is, right? Whatever
Sure.
that is. Even if you haven't seen it in your hot little hands, if you can see it, it has to happen where you see it in your heart and your head, right?
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
even with the positive expectancy, we know our thoughts, right, are electric and our heart is magnetic. And so in
Hmm.
order to magnetize those things, to bring them into fruition, we have to think those thoughts first. So if we're thinking those thoughts of my life sucks and this is never going to happen and nothing good ever happens to me, and oh my gosh, I'm going to go to the store and somebody's going to cut me off in line, and then I'm going to go to grab that last thing, and then somebody else is going to beat me to the milk, and that whole boohoo whanny pee pants stuff, you know
Sure.
right? But if you come from that place of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be at the store, and people like you and I both know that 50-foot rule, right? You're going to
Yep.
send out as much love as possible when you walk in, like you've got this big Michelin tire suit of love on you, and you're just walking through this store just sending out love. You can expect amazing, outrageous, outstanding things to happen in your life, one after the other after the other. Has that been
Mm.
true for you?
Oh, I absolutely love that, and I think that's really really true. So Cindy, let's take our 50-foot rule now, and let's broadcast this out to all the friends and family around the world listening. So we've got UK on the line, we've got Puerto Rico, we got Hawaii, we got California. So to all of our friends and family that are watching, here's what I'd love for us to consider in this next moment. In positive expectancy, and maybe you need to write this down so you get some clarity around this, and I'm going to suggest that you do that,
Okay.
is to write down, what roles do you play in life?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I've got roles like, I'll use the first role here, husband. And who's the key people in that relationship? That'd be my wife, Jen, right? Role two would be father. Key people would be my three kids. And then what other roles? I'm a coach. I'm a this. I'm a that. And I've got these things narrowed down, right? Now, as I go into looking at my week, looking at my day, looking at my month, and even my year, if you will, if
Mhm.
I understand that there's certain roles that I'm playing that on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to find that some roles have more positive expectancy in them than others. Okay. And
Yeah.
so now what I'm going to suggest and challenge us all, and by the way, I'm meaning this for me too, right? Is to look at our roles and then say a scale of 1 to 10, where am I? Okay, here, oh geez, I'm like a 3 on this one, or over here, I'm like an 8. So here's my challenge question. What would it take for you to move and have a 1-degree shift? So if I'm a 3, what would it take to get me to a 4 in that role with those people, those that are in that particular role? So if they're colleagues at work, or it's family members, or it's my role as whatever the case might be, what would it take for us to move that 1 degree? And then begin to set that as your weekly goal with intention that at the end of the week, I'm going to go back and reflect and say, okay, here's what went well. Here's what, oh, geez Louise, I don't know what happened over here. But listen, I'm going to now learn from that, right? Because life is a learning experience. And so I can learn from that and say, here's what I could do better for next week. And so then I'm going to go back to that role and go, okay, I didn't get the outcome that I wanted to. And here's what I've learned about myself in relational and situational experiences to help keep me in that gratitude, that joy. So that positive expectancy then will help me move in the direction that I want to go within these roles that I have listed.
Right. I love that. I love that. You know, it's interesting because as you're doing it, of course, I'm being obedient and doing the exercise with you. And this is actually that I assess, you know, with the wheel of the life wheel and all those things, and I assess
Sure.
those kinds of things for myself consistently. One of the things that really, really helped me move that needle was connection. You know, it's so important. And sometimes that connection doesn't mean, it depends on who you're connecting with, right?
That's right.
And it is so as to how you connect with them and how do they hear appreciation and love, and how do they hear or see, hey, high five, you did great. You know, how do they hear and see those things? And it does take, you know, what I love about what you're saying is a lot of times people think that if I need to learn something, if I need to grow, they criticize themselves for it instead of saying, hey, we all have to do that every single day. I mean, every single day is a learning day. Every single day is a growth day. You and I getting to be on here, I've already grown just being on here with you, and I've taken notes. I mean, you know, like seriously though, I mean that sincerely. And you know, and every single moment. So if we look at it from that place and take the pressure off, like, holy cow, can we just love each other? Like, can we just be kind and give each other grace and high fives?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, and even little things like, you know, like I'll even look at for marriage, for instance. And so what, your spouse left something out again, and you're, you know, once again putting something back in the fridge. Can you flip that around and appreciate the fact that that spouse is in your life to leave that thing on the counter? That you can be like, I mean, who cares, right? Put it in the fridge. Like, who cares, right? There's bigger fish to fry. But even with your children, same thing, right? Because you work with teens, and even with your teens, they're a different mindset than when we were kids, right? I mean, when we were kids, we got the look and we did it, you know? Or I know for me, my motivation is I didn't want to let my parents down, right? And now whole different mindset with our kids now. And if we just even show them energetically how to connect and have and appreciate and have gratitude and to celebrate, which you and I know is so important, to celebrate every little 1%.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. We have to take on that celebration. And so if you haven't seen how we celebrate, Cindy and I are going to teach it to you right now. We simply do this. We put our hands up and we turn the palm of our hands around towards us, and we reach over and we pat ourselves on the back, right? And in my mind, I say, good job, champ. Way to go, champ. because that's what my grandfather used to tell me when I was a teenager, and he would celebrate with me in whatever achievement that I was working on. And I love that he called me champ, and so that's very near and dear to my heart, and that's I love that. So, if I may, Cindy, you made reference to the fact that yes, I do work with teens, families, and parents, and I wanted to read because I was this is where the whole positive expectancy is really coming about within this week, because it's been showing up so much over the last like 2 weeks or so. I'm like, I got to do a show on this because of what I'm experiencing, what I'm learning in my roles that I can share with our listeners around the world, and with you. This is from an 18-year-old client that I'm working with, and we've been talking about this. And I told him, hey, listen, I just posted something about positive expectancy on my Energetic Life Now Facebook page and Instagram. And he came back and he said, I think that positive expectancy is something that is really needed in my life right now, because I sometimes can't look forward to things due to the fact that my brain thinks something's wrong with me. And I can't live in a normal future. If I adopt more positive expectancy, I will be more excited about college and my future life, and will be more motivated to do things every day to transition into that new life. So I read that and I was just like, man, this kid is brilliant. And for him to have that awareness connection to his own life of how and where this is going to show up and the why that he needs more of this in his life. And he understands that in his here and now, in his present, that's his biggest hang up right now. And when I read that, I was like, 100%, dude, 100%. How are we showing up? Are we worried and beating ourselves up for things that happened in the past? Are we fearful about the uncertainty of the future? And then in our present, in the here and now, we can't show up because we're so worried and so discombobulated about what happened on either end of this scale. We're done. And we shut down, and then we're not able to function. And I love that he said, if he does this, he will be more motivated to do the things every day to transition into that new life.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. And how articulate.
Very articulate.
I mean, I was like, okay, that was brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, you look at my tagline up here, moving from alive to thrive. That's it right there. He's in alive, and he knows in order to move where he is to better, to great, to magnificent.
Yes.
He's got to attach what is going on in the present and show up there, giving himself grace and forgiveness and patience and love for him to then be able to create consistency in that action. Otherwise, he is going to continually hit that wall of emotion, and he's not going to move, and he's going to get stuck, and he's going to keep running into that wall.
Yep. Well, and what you said too, the word that just jumped out at me just there is consistency.
Yeah.
It is a consistent, you know that. I mean, everybody on here that's listening, if you want to build muscle, what are you going to do? And you have to be consistent, right? You're going to go to the gym.
I'm going to go to the gym once every 6 months, and then I'm going to go, wait, well, how come I'm not getting results?
I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to work the circuit. Oh, by the way, I'm going to wear my makeup and, all that. It's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm not going to get results. Totally. And it's the same thing with anything internal, because I think when we're born, our natural default is gratitude and love and joy and ooey gooey, and all that stuff. And then we have implanted in us through our experiences and through our family's experiences, whatever our parents experience, whatever their hurts and hangups are, whatever anything is, their joys, their great things also. And then we have to decipher that. So then what happens when you, like you said, or like this young man said, in order to get to that thriving place, it is a complete shift. You have to continue to just feed that to yourself over and over and over again, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think now if we can connect back to the list of the roles that we just made a few minutes ago and ask ourselves, where we are in that, right? Scale of 1 to 10 in that positive expectancy in those relationships with those key people. And we're connecting to the situations of which we're either going to have the option to go positive or negative in that. And in order to create that momentum of consistency of that positivity in that relationship, to really work on that love and that grace and forgiveness and all of those great emotional love connections that we can have in those spaces, we've got to be able to have that internal awareness.
Yes.
We've got to be able to say, okay, here comes this person. They drive me out of my mind. And of course, my favorite line is, for the love of Pete.
Whoever Pete is.
And so I've got to be really aware. Okay, I see that person coming. It's not about me. It's about them. What can I offer them? I can offer them that space of love, gratitude, joy, forgiveness, fulfillment, and acceptance, unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, and then be present. Stop thinking about what happened in the past. Stop worrying about the outcome of the future if it goes wrong, and just stay present in that, I call it that heart space of love. Because when they approach us, we're in that headspace of, oh no. And that's the mindset. Yes. And then we're backspacing and we're going, no. Right? No, yeah. And so now I'm and I love how you said that. I'm rewiring my brain and my heart connection to now look for that positive in those relationship spaces, in those situational spaces.
Yes. So let me share with you this really cool. Last week, I had a client that reached out to me and she was beyond freaked out. And I had to gather myself, because when she shared with me what had just happened, there's a mama bear in me. And, and having been a wife and those things, I'm like, and what had happened is she had just this little thing happen. She dropped something or something little happened. And her husband said some really unkind things to her. And she's already, and, of course, and she, had some really choice things to say in her text messages about it all. And, and if I were not in the position I'm in, of course, and my response to her was this, and it was just beautiful how it played out. I said, okay, sweetheart. I said, here's the thing. I said, now you can be mad and bad and go back to that. And is that the energy and the frequency you want in your home right now? Is that going to cause you to feel vindicated or anything? I said, do you really think that's going to be effective? So what I did was, and it was super cool, and it wasn't about me, what she did, because I encouraged her to, but I just said, hey, I said, what if you just go outside or just get away from everybody for just a few minutes and sit in whatever prayer, meditation, whatever, and send him as much love as you possibly can. Yeah. I said, I'm glad that we live many states away, because you probably want to throat chop me for that. Right? I said, but I promise you, it will cause you to feel more peaceful, and it will make a change. This is what happens. So she goes outside and she's doing this, and then she messages me, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like waiting. She said, he found me where I was at, and he apologized and said, I'm so sorry. And there was no more conflict, right? Wow. But to your point, that's how simple it is when we're willing to stay present, be connected, stay in love, in that frequency of love, as opposed to judgment and anger and whatever. And that doesn't mean that you're a doormat or any of those things. That's not what we're suggesting. It's just and you can actually make so much better decisions when you're in a place of peace and love than when you're freaked out. And he did this and he did that. And 5 years ago, he did this too. And then, yeah, exactly. Right. And it was so beautiful. I was so excited for her. Like, okay, good job, girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you were saying, a couple things were sticking out. Especially the W word, willingness.
Mm.
If we are not willing to
Mhm.
do this, what is the impact on relationships?
Yes.
If we are willing to do this, what's the impact on relationships?
Amen. Right?
Right? It's a completely different outcome. And and,
Right.
and I love that you said, listen, we might have those relationships and these roles that we're talking about, of which we do set boundaries or bookends around, like here's
Mhm.
what's acceptable, here's what's not.
Right.
And I'm operating within that space for my own safety, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Absolutely, 100%.
Yep.
100% do that. And in that intention is what you were saying, I can still manifest and send love to that person.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
if I'm looking at that, who son of a person, I can still send, I can,
Sunshine.
yes, I can still send that love and attention. And I see them or I'm thinking about them. And rather than going to that default, which is, God, I hope they just fall off the edge of the earth today.
Right.
But into, gosh, I hope they have a great day today.
Right.
I hope something great happens to them that
Yes.
really just fills them with joy, that fills
Oh,
their heart, that keeps them in peace today.
yes.
And not for selfish reasons. Like if they're happy, then they're probably going to be nicer to me. No, no, no
Wow.
intentions.
Not
Sending that as a result for me. I just want that for them, and I want
yes.
them to be happy. I want them to find joy. I want them to be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can come with that grace
Yeah.
into that space, man, that head and heart connection, and the gut connection, the gut
Yes.
brain intuition is really, really going to be aligned and strong. And
Yeah.
and I know from that, and I'm from my experience, and tell me, listeners around the world, if this is you. We spend a lot of time, or we should spend a lot of time filling up ourselves. Yes, taking care of us and filling up ourselves. And everything that Cindy and I are talking about is working on you first, right? Do we all connect with that? As Dr. Joseph McClendon says, physician, heal thyself. Yeah, that's all of us. So we're
Yeah.
working on creating our foundation, our basis of joy, happy, peace, gratitude for the day, and we're
Right.
filling that up, right? And so now our cup is full. Now we're going out. We have intentions. We have positive expectancy happening. We're looking for ways that we can love, serve, be with people, whatever that, however that's going to show up. Now, what is going to happen is now we are going to spill over and spill out. That's what other people get. And I think sometimes there's a disconnect with that. Like, oh, I have a little bit, so that's what I'm going to give. No, I got
Mhm.
to make sure that I am full and overflowing.
Yes.
Because what's going to happen here, and ready for this one, folks? I'm either going to give the best of me
Or
or the rest of me.
exactly.
And right now, as I'm showing up and I only got about 50%, that's not going to be good. I'm only getting, no, that's not going to be good. I want to make sure that I'm taking care of me so everything else is spilling out, which is all at that 100% level, if you will.
100%. That's so great. I years ago I heard a speaker say that to give from your overflow. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
really sat with that because at the time I was working like 60 hours a week. I had 3 children. I was, doing all these things, and I was serving at church. And I'm like, okay. And so who gets the rest of me? Typically, and you and I both know this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who gets
Yeah.
the rest? Our family
Our
suffers.
family.
Our
Yep.
family suffers all the time because we're out in the world. So we have to present that, and our family's going to understand because they love us. Not cool,
Yeah.
and so what some of the things that I do, and I in the morning even, and it's such a big important thing to me, and our habits, as you know, our Mr. Seven habits, our habits are so critical,
Yeah.
but I fill my cup in the morning, and I fill it until I know I'm overflowing.
Mm.
And I do my best, and I'm not perfect at this of not looking at my phone or doing all those things, But for me, you know, I get in praise and worship. I get my scriptures in. I do some things. I spend time with God. And I totally get my gratitudes in alignment, because you don't know what's going to come up during the day. And one of the things that you shared a minute ago, and I do the mirror exercise, which we can certainly go over if we need to. But one of the things that you brought up a minute ago made me think about this, because yes, as I shared, you know, and you and I both know, thoughts electric, heart magnetic. Well, there's a scripture that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Why would it say thinketh? Because there is a brain, legitimately, go look it up, guys. Go to Google University, go to Heart Math Institute. There's a brain in your heart. And so you have to get those things connected right, or you will magnetize to you all the evidence you need that people are jerks, or that, you know, or that everything always falls apart. I lose everything. Everything breaks down. Whatever it is, whatever the stories are, the whiny pee pants stuff you tell yourself, or you will get evidence. Everybody's spectacular. Everybody loves me. I walk in a room. Everybody's excited to see me. I have his favor. I walk in favor. I give love. I receive love, you know, and those are the things, right, that you and I both know work, because this is what we do.
Absolutely. I love all of that, Cindy. And I think we should close out today with the mirror exercise in a few minutes, because I think that would be really, really helpful. You know, and I couldn't help but, as you were talking about that, and we're thinking about authenticity in how we're showing up in our, you know, for ourselves and for others. It's so easy in this day and age to get into false joy, right? Grab the phone, selfie, hi, right? And, not that I've ever done that, Cindy. Don't look at my profile pictures. I've never done that.
I'm gonna go scroll through your pictures now.
I know. Now you're like, I'm gonna go look, because he did that. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, that false joy of what everybody thinks we are about.
Right.
But behind closed doors, we are a hot mess. We've got this internal struggle going on, that our systems are not aligning, and we are not in that joy connection, if you will, in that head and heart brain space. So I love that you put that out there. Hey, can we take a moment? I found something just a few minutes ago that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. It's a TikTok, I know, but it's okay. I'm not going to play the sound of it. I'm going to read it, because thank God they put the captions on there. And this is really a fabulous post, and it happens to be on the motivational quotes on TikTok. Motivational quotes. And I love these. I love this group, because everything obviously they put out there is super positive, super motivational, very intentional and purposeful. And this is an interview that is being done with the moderator and Michelle Obama. And it's not, this isn't a political post, but I absolutely adore Michelle Obama. I thought she was the epitome of grace, and as a first lady, and I thought she was just phenomenal. She's telling a story about her family when she was younger. Okay, and she's talking about sitting around the dinner table, and it was not looked upon in her family to as they're eating dinner, to not be grateful for what you had on your plate in front of you. So she goes into this talking about it, and she says, if you had something on your plate that was good, a good piece of pizza, if you hadn't finished it yet and you were looking for more before you even enjoyed what was on your plate, you got in trouble. He say, never satisfied. That's a thing that'll get you, is never being satisfied with what you have right here. But it's enough. What you have is enough. And we live in a time where it feels like folks never think it's enough. We're always looking at the next thing on YouTube, or now we're not satisfied ever. She said, I've met billionaires who are not satisfied. They don't feel like it's enough. There's a long way of saying you will be okay as long as you are okay with you, is enough. Then it doesn't matter whether you're a kid there. Oh, it's going so fast. And so the whole premise behind that talk right there is really being that present, which is what we've been talking about. Is showing up and being present and understand that we are enough. We have everything that we need right here in the now to find the joy in. Right. And I love that metaphor of the pizza,
Yeah.
right? I'm looking at this pizza. I've got one piece. Now I can look at it one of two ways. Oh, I've got a piece of pizza. I only have one piece of pizza. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. I'm dying. You never feed me enough. Right? That's that whiny tone we hear. Right? And so going back into really the intention of what we've been talking about today and that positive the positive expectations. How do we really stay within that? Is it possible? Can we get to that awareness level of having that instant connection to, wait a minute, what am I thinking here? Do I have stinking thinking? Is this an automatic negative thought that I'm defaulting to? Can I pause myself here and reframe that and say, I only have one piece of pizza, or I have the most beautiful piece of pizza and I am going to devour this like a lion, right? And be grateful for that,
Yes. Yes.
as opposed to looking at situations in life of which we now are looking at and go, man, this is not, I don't like this. And I'm in that whining mode, right?
Yes. I love your voices. They're great.
By the way, we never hear this in my house. I'm just saying. I've heard
never,
about
ever, ever. No,
other
never.
places, not our house.
You know what's interesting is that when the whole time that you were reading Michelle's her TikTok, what I kept hearing in my heart was being present is the present.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being present, like right now, what a gift it is. I mean, think about this. Because you and I are both old enough that we remember 8-track tapes and I remember reel to reels. I mean, and so, right. And remember all those things. Well, we're in two completely different states with everything going on around us, and we get to connect and we get to give our hearts to people right now, and we get to love on each other and the people and everybody around us and send love to each other's families and all those things. What a present, what a gift. And if we were right now thinking, okay, this is what I got to do the rest of the day, or, oh my gosh, my internet's glitching again, or, all the other things, instead of just being present with each other, right?
Yeah.
We'd miss the gift. We'd miss the present. And this is the moment. This is it. This is the moment. Right this minute is the moment. And so, I don't think it's as hard as people make it. Right? I don't think it is. I don't think it's as tough as we sometimes make those things. It boils down to that word that you said in the very beginning, expectation.
Yeah.
What are you really expecting? And if you're not expecting to have a stellar, rock star, fabulous, joy-filled, loving, amazing, epic, freaking life,
right?
Then call one of us, because we're gonna hook you up.
I
mean, it's like serious. It's like, if you're not expecting that, then let's figure that out so that every single day you walk as you. I loved what you said the other minute about joy, but you walk in joy. You every step you take, you're walking out that joy, that love, that fun. Like, who doesn't? Are we done not having fun? Let's have some fun.
Oh, not me. Oh no.
Right.
Yeah. I'm only halfway done living the fun in my life. I still got more to go.
So much. Right.
Yeah. So, so friends and family around the world. And by the way, thanks for hanging with us on this. We hope that it's been super, super valuable. I think about my own life in the roles that I'm playing and the expectations that I'm setting and the intentions of the people that are coming into my life. And, I've had this talk with teachers all over the United States this summer as I've been going in and doing professional development workshops, right? And in the presence and showing up. So the expectations of, I have to work with this kid today, or I get to work with this kid today. My child is doing this, driving me out of my mind. or I'm expecting my child to do this today, or I get to do this with my child today.
Right.
And really looking at that we call it in the 7 habits of highly effective people, the proactive language and reactive language. And when we get and set those intentions around that language, that's the outcome that happens. Like you were saying a minute ago, if I intentionally am going negative, I'm going negative input and output's going to happen. If I'm looking at that positive input and output, that's what's going to happen. And it all comes down to that choice, that daily choice to say, I am going to try my best today to stay in this place of positive expectancy, knowing that I'm human, so I'm going to have some hiccups along the way. And this is where it becomes really valuable for us to have those reflective moments. I'm talking to Cindy, and she's somebody of that which I might have low trust in that relationship. We've had this interaction. We've had this conversation. Cindy goes away. And now I pause and I say, okay, how did that work? Is there anything I could have done differently to change the outcome, to change how that went? Regardless of how Cindy acted towards me, because I can't control Cindy. I can only control me. And if I can control what I'm thinking and feeling, that is the gold in which we get to give as a gift to others.
100%.
Because that is going to drive the action of which then we have that result from.
100%. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So Cindy, we've got a couple of minutes left, and I know we want to save we want to save a couple of minutes here for us to go into the mirror exercise, because friends around the world, thank you guys for showing up today. We absolutely love you. We've got lots of people showing up globally, and we'd love that. And so if you have not seen this mirror exercise, we are totally stoked, bruh, to show this to you, because that's how Cindy and I roll. And so Cindy, let's go into the mirror exercises today, and might want to have a piece of paper and pencil there for you, because what she's going to say is super, super important, because there's certain steps in the process. So get ready to write, and then we're going to practice, and then we're going to see where this all goes. It's so great. Cindy.
Yeah. Well, so, the mirror exercise has really been a blessing for me.
Me too.
How many times I'll backtrack, and I know we don't have a lot of time, but I remember when I woke up one day and I realized I hadn't really looked in the mirror. You just get ready really fast. When was the last time you really just looked at your eyeballs? I looked at you in the mirror. And what do you say? Because all day long you talk to yourself all day long. What are you saying? Like, do you think about what you think about? Because what are you really saying? So the mirror exercise is very simple. It's basically, you're going to write out things about I am fill in the blank.
Uh-huh.
I remember doing it with a group one time. In fact, you might have been there at the first Vegas group. And it was so much fun listening to I am, powerful. I am confident. I am phenomenal. I'm an excellent mother. I'm an extraordinary mate. All of those things, or I'm smoking hot, or, I'm a billionaire, whatever it is, all those things. And when you get up in the morning, this is what I do. I look in the mirror and I tell myself those things. Because I can tell you, Eric, you are so phenomenal. You're amazing. You do all these things. And you might believe me because you trust me and I'm not going to lie to you. And so you might believe me, but internally you might have a little glitch in that matrix, right? However, you can tell you, and you're going to believe yourself all day long, right?
Say that one more time, because there it was. There was the mic drop. Boom. Say it again, Cindy.
Yes. So I can tell you things, and you may believe me, but you can tell you things, and you are going to believe it. Beautiful or ugly, you're going to believe it, right? Yep. So you're going to look in the mirror, and you're going to take these statements, and we invite you to just do this, and we only have 2 minutes left, so hurry. And then you just say those statements out loud to yourself, and then you say, I love you. Cindy, I love you. I love you so much. I love you, and you are freaking amazing. And just whatever those words are, make them loving and uplifting. Celebrate. right? Pat yourself on the back, woo, and then get on with your day. If you're struggling in the day, pull your mirror down in the car. Look yourself in the mirror, launch off, and watch this. You're going to stack it just like muscles.
Absolutely. Listen, folks, I cannot walk past the mirror without looking at it and go, hey, how you doing? You know what? I love you. That is the truth. That is the truth. And I film myself. If we're trying to film myself, that's what I do every day. Mirrors around the house.
Yes,
Matter of fact, I'm gonna go get some more mirrors this weekend and keep filling up the house. I love it.
there you go.
That's fantastic. Cindy, to get a hold of you, where's the best way to find you on social media?
Facebook, you can find me, Cindy Gould. You can find me on Victorious Living with Cindy with the underscores on Instagram, createyourvictoriouslife.com. Hit me up. I would love to hear from you, please. And thanks for having me. This is
absolutely. And you guys know me, Eric from Energetic Life. You can find me on social media. I am all over the place. Listen, thank you, friends and family around the world, for tuning in today. Love you, appreciate you, and thank you for joining us. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Network. Check it out at spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Thanks for being here. We'll see you soon.
Woohoo!